Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my family and the things that we do in our family. And one of the things that is very important to us and a passion that we have as a family is fostering and adopting. So we have 7 children. Two of our children are adults, and they are my husband and I's bio kids. And then we have a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and 11-year-old that we have adopted through the foster system. And then we have a 14-year-old that we call him our catch and release, which means we got to foster him for about 10 months, and then he got to actually return to his bio family. And so that was amazing. So he's our catch and release. And then we have a 3-year-old right now that we are actually working on adopting. And so hopefully within the next year or within the next 6 months, that'll be official. And so technically we have 7 children, and we have 6 that are under our care and 1 that we make sure to have contact with a lot because he is in our hearts one of our kiddos as well. And so what helped us to decide to begin this journey when our bio kids were very young, I just had it impressed upon my heart that I really wanted to foster and possibly adopt someday. So we only had the 2 kiddos through birth, and then decided that's all. My birthing experiences were a little bit traumatic, and so we just really didn't want to attempt that again for a 3rd time. So we made the decision to make it permanent to not have any more children. And then life got crazy, as life always gets crazy, and that thought, my husband wasn't really on the same page with me with wanting to foster and adopt. And I should have us do a Q&A on here sometime about fostering and adopt between the 2 of us, because we both have like a same path, but different ways that we got there. And it's really kind of cool. And so I just kept praying, and I just kept it all in the back of my mind and in my heart that I really wanted to foster and adopt someday. Well, years went by, and my father got pretty sick and with multiple sclerosis, and so we ended up moving him into our home, and that was like a 5-year journey of having our 2 bio kids that were, still kind of young, and they were 5 and 9, so still young, and then bringing in my father to live with us, and it was 5 years before he had finally passed. And so by that time, we've got a 10 and a 14-year-old, and then we homeschool. My husband's a pastor, and so life just really continued. And I'd asked my husband a few times over the years to really consider the idea, really pray on bringing in a kiddo that was not ours by birth, and just really helping out. And he really wasn't feeling that that's how he wanted to serve in ministry, because we're ministers. So that was a huge part of our life, is how can we serve? And to me, I was like, how can we really be thinking that abortion is not okay, but not stand up for the kids that are here that really need homes, And so that was like my whole thing. And so then one year, our bio kids were 16 and 20, so many years had gone by, and my husband was getting ready to go on a backpacking trip. And I was like, oh babe, can you really think about this one more time? If it is a no, it is a no, and I will be okay with that. And then he came home from that trip, and he really felt that God was saying that he was being selfish with his time and with his energy, and that wasn't trusting that God was going to give us all we needed to be able to give back to these kids. And so at that moment, we began contacted an agency, and we began that process. And within 4 or 5 months of that process, we were called for our first placement. And we were really looking into younger kids, you know, like maybe one kiddo, and it was really going to be, just going to be, there's my husband, talking about fostering and adopting. No, they can't see you. And so it was really going to be just emergency process. We were only going to hold them for a small amount of time, and then release them to a concurrent family. And the concurrent family is one who will jump in and be willing to adopt and have this kiddo, whomever, be a permanent part of their family. And so we were very excited. We wanted 0 to 5. We wanted a little one. We just wanted little ones. We didn't want to have to deal with the school system. We'd always homeschooled. We just didn't want to do any of that. It seemed a little too stressful for us. And so we were very excited. And so we got a call for our first placement, and it was a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, little boys. And we were like, oh my gosh, we didn't expect 2. And so we thought about it, and we were like, yes, we'll do it. Well, by the time we had told her, yes, we'll do it, another family had come in and was already like, yeah, we're totally on board. And so I'm like, okay, so if we're going to take a placement, we can't like hang up the phone and then really talk about it and think about it. We got to be quick, and we got to be saying, okay, yeah, we're going to do it. When the phone rings, are we going to take that placement? We need to let them know right away whether we're going to take that placement or not. And so not even a week later, we got another phone call, and they were like, we know you wanted 0 to 5, and we know you really only wanted 1, but we have a 6 and an 8-year-old, and they're little girls. And I was like, I'm not even gonna think about it. There's a reason these girls are being brought to us, and we're just gonna do it. And we're gonna be like, okay, well, whatever happens, God's gonna give us the grace, and he's gonna give us the energy that we need to be able to take on these 6 and 8-year-olds. So I go to pick them up, and there's a little boy. There's a 4-year-old. And I was like, what? Who is that? It's their brother. And here I take these girls who have already been through a traumatic experience by being separated from their bio parents. And now I have to separate them from their brother, and their brother from their sisters. And it was such a sad moment. And it was just broke my heart, but we were only licensed for 2. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that broke my heart. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. Literally within a month, we just knew quickly that these kiddos were not going to be returned home to their birth family. And my husband's like, I think we're supposed to adopt these girls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I wasn't planning on like jumping in and running into adoption when we had 16 and 20. It's like, okay, here we go. So we worked hard to get the brother to come into our home. And so he got to come into our home, and we ended up over the next year adopting these 3 kids. And so that was our first placement that ended in adoption. And then a few years went by, and we were like, okay, we got a phone call for a little one, a 17-month-old. And we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? What do we do? We're getting old. What do we do? And it was only supposed to be a couple months. Well, he's the one that is 3, and we were working towards adoption. And then we got a call within this past year for the teenager. And it was like, oh my gosh. And, but this is what our life is. It's like, come on, bring them all. We're just a crazy household. And so he was really fun. We had him for about 10 months. And I don't know, I just really felt like I really wanted to share my story with you guys on fostering and adopting. And I really want you all to be able to connect with me if you have like that dream of fostering and adopting. And you can send me an email. And my email is getbling101, getbling101 @gmail.com. And just really, you can connect with me that way. And I would love to just chat with you over where you're at in this process. If you've adopted, if you hadn't, and they all come with special needs because they all come with trauma. And so 3 of our 7 kids are on the spectrum, and so life is not easy, but it is an adventure, and it is amazing to be able to give back and just love on these kids like a way that they truly need to be loved. And so I'm just really excited to be able to share that with you. And I'm starting this page. So my husband and I, our family is resellers. A lot of how we like really get our kids in and keep them in activities is by doing this entrepreneur business that we have, and it's a reselling business. And so I actually started my YouTube channel to help support that reselling business, to help support our family. But then I thought, oh my gosh, maybe people want to hear our story as a family. So you're going to see my dogs. You're going to see my kids, the ones that you're allowed to see. You're going to see the craziness of our home, because I'm not going to be like a vlogger, because I'm not like, I mean, maybe I am. Maybe I'm a vlogger, just a small time vlogger. But literally, please subscribe to my page. Please like this video. Please click the notification bell so every time my crazy family comes on, that you can see us, that you can just give us all the love, that you can support our family in this way and follow my crazy life of 7 kiddos in California. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see where the adventure of life takes us. And so again, subscribe, click like, and hit the notification bar, and you will see what we've got coming for you later. Bye, all.